Well, no doubtedly, the last month has been, of course, unprecedented for New Zealand, as well as, of course, New Zealand's businesses. And one that certainly hasn't ducked out of that is, of course, the real estate industry, being unable to show people property. However, I'm assured by our next guest that it has been business as usual to a point in terms of rural and lifestyle transactions across the country, and in particular in my backyard here in Canterbury. Excited to be joined now by Ben Turner from Bayleys Canterbury. Now, Ben, what's that on your face? You joined this trend.
I was just testing to see. I've had to put a rinse through it like I have to do through my hair every second day. So it's actually a pain in the ass, and I'll be looking forward to getting rid of it soon. So, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sure that there's a few hairy faces across your rural team, Ben, at Bayleys. How's everybody in your team, and in particular the wider Bayleys Canterbury team, been over lockdown and keeping them busy?
Oh, the team's in great shape, actually. All, as you say, yeah, rather hairy, but well, I can't speak for all because we've got some great female members of the rural team. But look, the team's been keeping busy. We've had sales right across the board from North Canterbury, Mid Canterbury, and South Canterbury, and a number of those sales have been deadlines that we're halfway through. Or predominantly at the end prior to lockdown, and they've gone ahead and had multiple offers on them and been negotiated out, and interestingly, in most cases with unconditional offers. So the guys have been very structured from the first week in lockdown at looking at ensuring that those contracts and the deadlines they had in place continued on, and we did the best job possible for the vendors and achieved what they wanted to achieve. And then it was also at that point ensuring that any settlements coming up for the next couple of months, that we were on the ball early and making sure that those can happen, or they're pushed out in line with the level lockdown restrictions. So the guys have had a lot of structure to their week. We've had national training sessions every day, national catch-ups from our rural team right around New Zealand, and then our local catch-ups 3 days a week. So they've got some real structure in their weeks, and they've been on the phones and talking to people and making sure that we're ready to hit the ground running when we can get back out and about. So
and find that property for me too. Of course, as well, Ben, that I know you've been working hard. Terrible buyer to deal with, I know. Hey, but what I want to know of in terms of buyers, though, what is the makeup of who is still very interested in rural specifically as opposed to lifestyle? Are we going to see this time being a lot of corporate buyers buying up neighbours? What type of people are making up those buyers?
Particularly from a dairy front, we noticed in the last couple of weeks that a number of those buyers, which we've been dealing with to a certain extent for the last 2 years anyway, but this has really reinforced it, that those buyers are wanting to understand return on investment and understand how that operates and how they can operate with either an equity manager or a share milker. So I think that we're seeing some investors that would normally look at commercial property or have large commercial holdings are looking to diversify into the agri sector, which is interesting, and a number of inquiries out of the North Island for a lot of our grazing blocks down here. So we're going to be restricted as to them viewing the properties in the shorter term, but nonetheless, it's good to see inquiry coming in from around the nation.
I know that you deal a lot with huge due diligence in these farms to be able to obviously work out that they're going to be good cash flow returns. It's not about capital gains anymore. With the changing goalpost that is some of our reforms and before the government at the moment, especially essential fresh water, how are those transactions getting on with a lot of law firms sort of shutting down over this time too? And councils as well.
I guess probably more from a council point of view. In some respects, pretty much all of our rural listings, we've pre-ordered LIM reports and things prior to going into lockdown. But we've found, particularly on the rural front, the lawyers that we're dealing with are still operating, and in fact are flat out. I was just talking to a rural banker before I got online with you, Sarah, and those guys are busy. I think we've found in the rural sector, those guys are full steam ahead. We have had a couple of smaller holdings that went under contract just after lockdown, and they have now confirmed and gone conditional. So that's the lawyers have done their thing. Accountants will have an involvement in there as well with those purchases, and bankers, of course, getting finance across the line has not been simple, but those guys are working damn hard to work within some pretty short time frames still with those contracts. So no, it's certainly been definitely not business as usual, but business has still been happening, and guys have actually pulled out all the stops to get some of these deals across the line. So I think, like a lot of us, even though we can't go anywhere at the weekends, it's we all look forward to Friday night rolling around. We can get our heads out of our little offices and cubby holes for the weekend and clear the head, ready to go again for the week ahead.
So, of course, my audience, I know, will be wanting to know, what does level 3 look like for real estate?
But at this point, Sarah, we know we can go ahead with inspections. That's the big game changer for us. Obviously, we'll still be operating with possibly a skeleton staff in some of our offices, but where we can operate from home, we will still continue with that. But it just means we can go about in a safe manner now getting people inspecting properties, which will be individual inspections, and obviously there'll be some strict protocols around that. But that's where everyone's itching to get out. And I think, the wider public, and that's what I was talking about before with that inquiry that's coming through now, they are really enthused about wanting to get out and get their feet on the ground. A lot of them have done their homework and actually engaged and spent money with solicitors and professionals. So they've got their due diligence in line and ready to go, and just want to get their feet on the ground to have their final sign off before they go ahead and draft a contract. So that's going to mean we can get back out and get operating, and it's also going to mean people can get on with their lives and settle and go into their next phase of their lives. And it's about getting people into homes and on farms and continuing with their business, because from an agricultural point of view, it's business carries on, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. Well, thanks very much for conditioning me, Ben, to the fact that I'm going to have a lot of competition now after lockdown for that ultimate Canterbury lifestyle block. But no, thank you so much for your time. That's Ben Turner, Director here at Bayleys Canterbury, and a great update on what's happening in the rural and lifestyle market here tonight on Sarah's Country.
This is Sarah's Country.